look to where the market's going and pivot that way. This has been said a gazillion times. I think Wayne Gretzky was the first person. He's like, hey, skate to where the puck's going. But the reality is you really need to embrace that.
You're listening to Brainwork Framework, a business and marketing podcast brought to you by focus-biz.com.
Welcome back to another episode. With us today is the CEO of Bluleadz, Eric Baum. Bluleadz empowers companies to revolutionize how they market, sell, and support their customers through HubSpot and AI. So excited to have him on. Eric, how you doing today? And tell us more about your entrepreneurial journey. What were you doing before that kind of led you into doing what you're doing with Bluleadz?
First, thanks for having me, Chris, and I'm doing incredible as always. Be careful what you wish for because my entrepreneurial journey is 30 years in the making. The shortened version is I started in the mid 90s, right out of school, creating a company called PSI, which was a sewer contracting company with a college buddy of mine and another friend of his. And it was three guys trying to make our way through the world and figure this stuff out. It was our very first company. Obviously, we bootstrapped it. And I learned a couple of lessons at that company. The first of which was sell first and then figure out how to do what you sold later. Sales drives everything. The downside is one of the hard lessons I learned in that first company was growth without a plan equals chaos, which then leads to failure. And that first company, we grew to 25 people. We worked in 5 different states over a 3.5-year period. But I saw the writing on the wall, and financially we were in a quagmire. And I sold my share to those 2 partners, exited. I guess you can call that a successful exit. I didn't lose my butt on it, but still like early 20s, still figuring things out. And then from there, I owned a bar in Richmond, Virginia for a few years. That's when I learned that drinking on the job can be really fun. That was a fantastic experience. And then from there on, I moved down to Florida, 2001, and actually went into business again with a startup with the first partner I had back in Philadelphia. And we started a company called Permaliner. And that was a manufacturing company. We did really well. It was a lot of fun during that time in my life. And I learned the importance of culture building in an organization. I learned about operations and processes and cost of goods sold and margins and all that stuff. And from there, we actually started a couple other franchises, or I should say, bought a couple other plumbing franchises, which was in the same kind of industry, grew those in the Tampa and Orlando market. And there, I learned a lot about the franchise model, setting systems up, processes, understanding marketing and digging into the analytics. How much does it cost me to make the phone ring? What does that translate into my job cost average? You had to go to business school. I didn't go to business school. I graduated college with a criminal justice degree, was planning on being an attorney way back when. And I had to figure all this stuff out. My business partner and I were figuring things out together. We didn't know everything at that point. Half of my journey, I can go through the rest of it, but I'm going to stop there because literally we could take the entire podcast going through my journey, which led to ultimately Bluleadz in 2010, which is the company that I now have for the last 15 years. And hopefully I've perfected most of, or at least learned a lot from the lessons along the way, for sure.
That is a lot of great experience and just the trial and error, having to figure things out yourself. The success comes roadblocks, but you learn everything what it takes to run a successful business. And like you said, it's the systems, it's the processes, it's the people, and kind of getting all those to kind of work together. I think a lot of business owners struggle to grow and then scale without the systems or the processes. Tell us more about Bluleadz and then how that helps people and the benefits of using these systems, CRMs, the AI to kind of bring this all together.
That kind of starts with when I founded Bluleadz. It was actually as a result of looking for a content management system to host my own website at the time. The Mr. Rooter plumbing franchises that I had exited the manufacturing company, which was a huge debacle. And we can kind of set that aside and get into that as one of the failures in my professional career. If you want to go down that road, happy to share the lessons there. It was Mr. Rooter franchises, and I had 2 of them in Orlando and Tampa at that. I owned both of them 100% at that point. And I'd started my own website there, hired somebody internally to do SEO, pay-per-click advertising. and immediately had 50 of the other Mr. Rooter franchises throughout the country saying, hey, can you do this for me? I love what you're doing, because I was in the Yellow Pages back then. This is in 2008, 2009. Yellow Pages was primarily driving business for plumbing companies at that point. And I was spending $25,000 a month in each market. And it cost me $345 to make the phone ring. And my job cost averaged $212. You do the math. I was losing money hand over fist. I shut everything down. It took me about 6 months to get through that process of getting out of the Yellow Pages, started my own website, hired somebody internally, and got my job cost, or the cost per call, down to $45 just by doing pay-per-click advertising. And all these other Mr. Rooter franchises asked me, can you do this for me? I pivoted that person out of Mr. Rooter, put it into a new company. Back then it was called All Marketing Group. And I immediately had 50 clients out of the gate. And I went back to my first lesson. Okay, sell, and then figure out how to do it after that. They kind of figured out to scale things. And I landed in the HubSpot world because I couldn't scale websites on HTML. I had to have a developer do everything, update the copy, do absolutely everything. And I was like, this is crazy. It's not scalable. How can I find a content management system? This is prior to WordPress being an actual they hadn't developed that yet. It was just a blogging platform back then. And I was like, all right, I looked at Joomla and Drupal, and I landed upon HubSpot. And HubSpot kind of just changed my world. I remember they had launched this thing called inbound marketing, and this newfangled way of actually attracting people to your website and doing the right thing and giving them content for free and doing all these things that I was like, this is great. I drank the Kool-Aid, went all in, and then rebranded to Bluleadz in 2010, became one of the very first HubSpot partners, I think in the first 10. And now we are top 5 globally in the partner ecosystem out of 7,000 partners. I attribute all of that success to just hanging in there over the last 15 years. I think persistence, perseverance through all the trials and tribulations and the failures and the struggles and the layoffs and all the stuff that you go through as a business owner. If you can get through that, you'll succeed. You really will.
Absolutely. You have to be resilient and take action, especially when those road bumps and obstacles come in our way. And most businesses start from realizing your own pain point. How do I solve this? And you realize that's a pain point for many other businesses. And that's how you were able to get those 50 clients right away, because they knew exactly what they needed and how to solve that problem. What's that perfect product validation, the market fit, where you say, go sell something before you build it? Because I've seen people experience that as well. They'll take all the time they have building the system or a process or developing a tool and realizing later that no one's interested in buying it, or they missed the mark somewhere and they never even thought to ask a client or a customer, would you like this? Would you buy it? Would you pay money for this?
And ironically, we've kind of moved up market with HubSpot as they've gone from small businesses to mid-market to enterprise companies. We've kind of grown with them. We aren't working with plumbing companies much anymore. We're typically dealing with SaaS companies and fintech and healthcare companies. And we work with companies that do anywhere from $1 million in revenue, usually 5 million, up to $5 billion in revenues. We run the entire gamut. It's crazy.
And tell me more about those businesses that you work with. What pain points are they having with? And then how do you go in to help them? Is this working on small projects, or is this kind of like a revamping or just revisioning kind of their process and system and CRM?
Sure. I think one of the lessons I learned in business, and this translates to answering your question, is look to where the market's going and pivot that way. This has been said a gazillion times. I think Wayne Gretzky was the first person. He's like, hey, skate to where the puck's going. But the reality is you really need to embrace that. And for instance, we started off as a marketing agency and embracing the HubSpot platform and helping companies to generate leads, create new website for them, do lead nurturing, fill their sales funnel with qualified leads, SQL, sales qualified leads. That was the nature of our business for the first probably 5 to 8 years. Fast forward 15 years later from inception, we primarily focus on HubSpot onboarding and implementation. We went from, hey, we'll generate leads for you, to, hey, we're everything HubSpot. We are the masters. We will get your team set up, and then we'll continue to manage that for you and do some of those marketing and sales activities if you choose. But otherwise, we're going to train your team and empower you to actually utilize HubSpot for your marketing, your sales, your service teams, and make sure that you're utilizing it and getting the best ROI from it. We've got a whole host of various services, depending on how deep you want to go and how much you want to take on yourself or you want to lay off to somebody else. But my business now is completely different than when it was when there was the first employee. Now we've got 46 employees and growing, great leadership team in place. It's been a wonderful experience in the last 15 years.
That is so incredible. And for a lot of businesses who are trying to grow and scale, yes, the marketing, the sales have to be there, but I feel you lose ROI or you leave money on the table if you don't have systems or processes that help support that. And especially with CRMs, people are just in their head and they have these post-it notes and maybe a spreadsheet when really they should be letting these systems do all of that work and thinking for them.
Yeah, obviously we're in the age of AI. It used to be called marketing automation right before it got intelligent. And we used to build out all these systems and process and automate as much as we possibly could, which creates efficiencies for customers. That's the name of the game. The more efficient you can become, the more profitable you're going to be. And now, of course, it's just in the last 3 years, AI is completely taken this stuff to a whole different level. And now the question isn't like, hey, how can we automate things? But how can we actually intelligently create solutions and solve them without much of a human interaction at that point? And our business is, we're actually one of the very few people that kind of dove into AI early on. We actually create custom agents for customers. Obviously, in the HubSpot world, their AI is called Breeze and Copilot inside of there. And we leverage that for customers. But it's really exciting. There's a lot of marketing agencies out there that have started 10 years ago, and they're scrambling right now because they don't know how to adapt to the new reality, unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of AI, there has been a huge disruption. First, it's cool as a copy generator, or I can ask it silly questions. Then it can write websites, HTML and computer code. It can write Python script. Now it is changing the world for copywriters, graphic designers, developers. The list continues. Where do you see AI going and how are you going to leverage that?
Man, that's a loaded question. I think there's different levels of AI. The way Bluleadz, the way I approach AI is, okay, well, what's the native AI functionality in any given platform that you're using? HubSpot has theirs, of course. ClickUp's got AI functionality. There's all kinds of softwares that plug in that integrate into your CRM or QuickBooks or your accounting software, whatever it is, they're going to have AI functionality built in. So that's kind of level one. Being able to master that, or in our case, as an agency, be able to actually train companies and individuals on how to utilize that to be effective in their workday. That's level one. Level two is all the other plugins, anything that you're going to integrate into your main software and understanding that AI functionality, then you need to be able to utilize that as well. Level three, in my mind, is, well, let's get into the ChatGPTs and the Google Geminis. Let's build out custom GPTs and custom gems that can actually do a lot of the work. And then level four is custom agents that actually produce things for you or take actions for you. And I'll give you a perfect example of level three. I'm the CEO. I'm not the one in there building the custom agents. I'm the one being like, here's a use case and a problem that we need to solve for. Go build this for us. But for me, I'm messing around. I just started really putting myself out there and getting on podcasts. You're a perfect example of, I just built a custom GPT that will go out and it'll actually research your podcast yourself. It'll pull out all the transcriptions for the last 10 podcasts. It'll give me a tone, standard questions that you're going to ask, all kinds of these things. It gives me a 3 or 4 page summary formatted exactly how I want it so that I don't have to go through and do all this research myself. I can listen to the podcast, and I already listen to your podcast, so it's nice and easy for me. But that just saved me hours worth of prep so that I can come to an engagement like this and be completely prepared. Take that in every other aspect of your professional career and plug it in. It's a complete game changer. It's unbelievable.
You know, have an assistant focus on a single task and send them out to go do your bidding, and you can actually define what you want from them. and there's nothing up in the air. The AI agent is going to come back with something different. It's going to follow your guidelines and the prompting that you use.
For $20 a month. That's unreal. Now, you take that to a level 4. For instance, we've got a customer service agent that above and beyond what HubSpot's customer service agent has that's built in. So 9 times out of 10, most companies are going to be able to just utilize the custom agents that whatever CRM they're using offers, and that's going to work just fine. But for those enterprise level customers who want to take a step deeper or a step further, building out those custom agents that can retrieve all kinds of different information from behind paywall, behind membership subscription sites and stuff like that, and be able to service that up to your customer. Another perfect example is a quoting tool. On our website, for instance, you can go in, and this is great for your sales team. It's great for your customer success team. I just can plug in information about a customer, and it'll say, here's what the quote should be for these services. Now you take that to the next level. There's service like Fathom AI. I'm sure you're probably familiar with Fathom AI. It's a note taker. They're opening up their API. And now what we'll be able to do is have all of our customers, a particular customer, have all that customer calls inside of Fathom. The custom agent will actually go and scrub all those transcripts, and on any customer service call, we'll identify an opportunity for a cross-sell and upsell based on our service offerings, and then be able to ping the CSM and the sales rep about that, and also set up automated emails in a campaign highlighting those services that we offer to that customer. It's like Amazon following you around everywhere you go, trying to sell you something. It's unbelievable. And just in the last few months that we're able to do this stuff. It's crazy.
That is really incredible. It was one thing to have some personalization at scale. Sure, an AI agent can look at your spreadsheet and kind of infer some information and then go out to the web to find some more. But then now taking it to the next level, it's like, okay, how do we create these customer service sales agents? It's understanding the pain points, identifying that, and you're not spending 5 to 10 hours doing this. The AI agent's running in the background, and then the humans come in with their own touch points to then take it the next step. But all that admin work that was just automated, done by an AI agent now. It's incredible.
Another great example is a prospecting agent. HubSpot, of course, has a prospecting agent that will actually go out and, based on your database in your CRM, will go out and research that company, and it'll start sending emails about whatever service you want to promote to that customer. And then it'll actually schedule a meeting with your sales team as soon as that person's ready to raise their hand. It's your little marketing buddy or your business development rep, your BDR buddy, just out there working on your behalf. Then you can go to level 4 and build a custom agent to do even further. We've got a custom agent as a prospecting agent that'll go out and research everything about that particular customer, whether it's in your CRM or not. And then it will also create a series of emails based on that customer's information, their website, any talk they've ever given, anything you can find about them on the internet, and tailor all of our services around their specific pain points, because AI can understand what pain points do they likely have based on what you offer, and tailor all these emails to their pain points. It's absolutely amazing what this stuff can do. I just want to sit back and watch. Unfortunately, I can't, because this is my business. Everybody needs you to do this and this for me. Okay, great. Team over here, deploy. Let's go. But at some point, there won't be people doing it. It'll just be people telling it what to do. And then we'll be reaping the rewards from that. It's going to be really incredible, really incredible.
It really is a game changer to see how the tech software is just changing the game right now. But there are a lot of marketing practices that are the tried and true examples of how we kind of build our book of business. Sometimes it's referrals, sometimes it's networking, the classic SEO and PPC. What has been the biggest driver of growth for you and your business? What would you suggest for others? What should they focus on when they're trying to build and grow their own business in terms of marketing?
I will tell you that our perspective has changed just in the last couple of years. And even in the last 12 months specifically, SEO is becoming more and more difficult and less important. And everybody's seen the kind of Armageddon of traffic to your website, the drop off last year. We were a perfect example. We used to get 300,000 organic visitors to our website every single month. we'd get anywhere from 2 to 3,000 net leads from that every single month. And our organic traffic dropped down to 25,000 visitors a month. And it's just the nature of the beast. People are searching in Perplexity and ChatGPT and Gemini for the answers to their questions now. And when they just ask, hey, what are the top 5 companies that can solve my problem? And they'll find that company, then they'll go to that company's website. For us, to answer your question, channel marketing's been a bigger play for us, as in partnering with other software companies, working together with a software called Crossbeam, where it's ecosystem-led growth. If you get big enough and you've got a lot of partners out there, you've got overlaps with their customers and your customers and their prospect and your prospects. Going down that road, I think, has helped us kind of overcome the noise in the SEO world, and then also being more efficient with your customer base. So going back into and selling into your past and current customers, the additional services that you've created over the last year or two. People forget that in their business. They think, I've got to go and get new. No, you can double or triple your revenue just by selling back into your past customer base. I mean, if you've been in business for 5 years or 15 years or 50 years, think about how many past customers you have that haven't heard from you in years, don't even know what you do anymore because the people that you dealt with are gone. Go back and sell into that customer base.
I just wanted to jump in because I appreciate that. And I agree wholeheartedly. A lot of people focus on, I need more leads. And it's like, what about further nurturing the leads you already have, or going back into that database of either your past customers or your past leads? There's information and people ready and willing to hear more about you. You just need to make that touch point and reach out to them again. I totally agree.
Yeah, I mean, even like the basic, call it website designer, being in the digital world, everybody can create a website pretty easily today. But even somebody that just focuses on website design, they've got customers from 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago. They need new websites. Go back and talk to them. And I look at that, for us at least, and the customers that we work with, that's a huge potential, especially in today's economy. Think about it, like the macro environment in the world we're living in right now, everybody's uncertain. Your billion-dollar companies are not moving forward with initiatives right now. They're stuck in the mud. I don't know where to go. We're hunkering down. We're saving cash. And you see that through the economy right now. And when that happens, you've got to look internally. Hey, where can we generate new revenue from existing and past customers that already trust us, that already know what a good job we do? That's our kind of take on where we're going for the rest of this year. We'll see what happens next year. Never know, man.
Absolutely. It's all up in the air and we're just kind of figuring things out. And I've asked some other podcast guests just where they see that uncertainty unfolding within their own business as well. And I appreciate you sharing, because my first thought is, again, hunker down, save cash, don't put forward any initiatives. And I've heard a few guests say, I'm actually doubling down on everything that's working. I'm taking more risk now. And there has to be a balance there where that logical left side of the brain and the right side, just go for it. Again, as businesses, I think we're just pivoting and finding out what's going to be best for us, because we don't want to be vulnerable. We don't want to throw money away, but we have to be aggressive and proactive as well.
One of the lessons that I learned over the last 30 years of having 6 different businesses is don't make decisions based on fear. When I say hunker down and conserve cash, there's a lot of billion-dollar companies that are doing that right now. I look at it like, where are the opportunities in today's marketplace? How can I take advantage of that? Because we've been fiscally responsible and we're not completely cash strapped, we're able to take advantage of those companies. We take a Berkshire Hathaway mentality, have cash and be able to deploy it when there's opportunities, but also have an entrepreneurial risk, a little bit of risk tolerance so that you can take those opportunities. For us, we're doubling down on things that we know work. We've got a marketing department. We're not dropping marketing off a cliff and being like, we got to conserve cash, get rid of the marketing department. No, absolutely not. We're not getting rid of our sales team, but we do make fiscally responsible decisions when the market's down. It currently is.
It's just something you have to be mindful of. And I love that you're not trying to throw away sales and marketing, because a lot of businesses will make that mistake. They'll pull back on some of their marketing spend. And I think when you look back at the data, HubSpot is great for the data analytics and try to understand everything that's going on. But you can see your channels of growth and your return on investment. And if you completely cut that off, you're not really going to continue or grow from there.
No. And I've got the luxury of being a little bit older and being in the game for the last 30 years. And I lived through the Great Recession of 2008, 2010, and did absolutely everything wrong during that as a business owner and learned a whole host of lessons. But as a result of that, and it almost broke me, almost broke my marriage, almost broke my business, almost broke me personally and financially. It was really difficult to get through because I had never, at that point, it never failed. I didn't even know failure was a possibility. My entire professional career, I just kept going. I'd stumble, but not fail. Anyway, long story short, when COVID hit, my wife turns to me, and I had about 36 employees at that time, and we had a great life. Life is good. She turned to me and she was like, my revenue dropped 25% in 2 weeks. And she's like, what are you going to do? And I said, I'll tell you, I'm going to do the exact freaking opposite of what I did during the recession. And I did. And I went back, I spent a few hours and was like, what? Every decision I made during that time, what was it? I know it was wrong. I pulled George Costanza. I did the exact opposite. And I was able to make it through it in 2 months, stabilize, back on track. We did have to lay some people off, but we were able to bring back those people inside of 6 or 7 weeks with back pay, all because I did exactly opposite of what I did in 2010, let's call it. This is another one of those times when the economy gets put on hold and people are scrambling. I'm like, wait a second. It's not actually that bad. I've been here a couple times before. Let's figure out what exactly we need to do. And we just create what we call a recession plan. If your revenue drops 25%, what do you do? If it drops 30%, what do you do? If it drops 50%, what do you do? Pre-plan those moves so that when you're in it, you're scared, you're making bad choices. But if you have a plan before everything hits the fan, then it's already done. There's no emotion. You're not making poor choices. You've already planned this out. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And I think a lot of businesses struggled during COVID because some couldn't adapt or pivot and they didn't see the new opportunities that presented themselves. I think even in hindsight for me, I didn't realize how many businesses weren't online yet and needed to get online or some sort of online ordering system. Those businesses, that was a huge opportunity that people need to realize and think of in advance. That way you're just not kind of bombarded with the craziness and the uncertainty that hits you.
Yeah. I will say one thing that did hit me out of COVID that I was not expecting is the not coming back into the office. We were being a HubSpot partner and in the software game. We had glass offices right on the Tampa Bay, ping pong tables, 2 kitchens, custom conference tables, 4 conference rooms, all the stuff you'd think at a SaaS company office we had. And COVID hit. Nobody wanted to come back in the office. For a couple of years, I still hung on to that office because I kept going in. I'm going to the office. I love my office. This is fantastic. And finally had to give it up because now we've got employees all over the country, all over the world, in fact. And I work from home, which is a different joy for me. I didn't realize how much I was missing kids growing up, and just being here gives you that pop in. I can watch my daughter rides horses. We have a few horses of hers and she's jumping. I'm on a Zoom and I can see straight out through the pasture and I'm like, she's jumping a horse. Are you paying attention? Yes, I am, to the right thing. Well, her jumping horses. But I didn't realize how much my life is going to change for the better. But I still miss the ping pong. Got the branded ping pong table. It's folded up in the garage right now, which brings a tear to my eyes every once in a while.
Well, you can always do a team retreat over at your house, break out the ping pong tables and get nostalgia with it. But you kind of discover new things about yourself, your business, just the way that we interact. Again, the 2 weeks to flatten the curve turned into 2 months, into 2 years, into 5 years later. And we're still seeing the articles online about CEOs struggling to RTO, return to office, or making mandates. It's just one of the changes as we kind of develop and go through life and business together. But I think you found the right priority there.
It's enabled the team members to have a different quality of life that they never would have had. And it's enabled us to bring on new team members and new talent that we'd never have access to because we were based in the Tampa market, which is a growing technology hub. But we've got employees in Oklahoma and Washington and all over the country. And we'd never be able to give opportunities to people that if we were stuck in an office all the time.
Absolutely. Totally agree. Now, for those listening who want to get connected with you and find you online, where should people go to connect?
I hang out in two places. LinkedIn is my primary, but I'm way late to the party here on Instagram. But I will tell you, I've been working with an executive coach, CEO coach, and you need to be on Instagram. I don't care if you don't like Instagram, you need to be on Instagram. Fine, I'll start doing stuff on Instagram. My point is, find me on LinkedIn, Eric Baum BZ. Same thing on Instagram, just EricBaumBZ. And I hang out on both now, as much as I not really enjoying Instagram, but you're probably on Instagram. Sorry if I'm offending you.
No, not at all. I was just going to say we'll have the links available down in the show notes and the description. And you're not the only one. I started my first Instagram account 2 months ago, and I'm a 36-year-old millennial. So you're not the only one. I think we just kind of reluctantly get into, I think I made a TikTok as well, but the posting frequency is a little bit different. But it's really about finding your audience. Where do you want to hang out? Where do you want to have those conversations? But it can be good for both inbound, outbound strategies to have that presence online. And as much as we don't like it ourselves, we have to get out there, take the advice from your coach, consultant, follow that, and then just stick with it. That's really important. But I want to ask you, Eric, what are you looking forward to most in 2025? We're about halfway through. Are you bringing out anything new and exciting, a new pivot coming through, or are you just sticking with everything that's tried and true right now?
We are pivoting heavily into AI services, both in supporting the HubSpot Breeze and HubSpot's AI functionality, as well as custom agents and custom solutions for our customers. I know everybody and their sisters, AI this, AI that, but in our business, it really does. It's a smart move to embrace it rather than try not to or ignore it. For us, we're building out an AI department. Believe it or not, our AI department is headed up by an 18-year-old kid still in college who's a genius, and he just knows this is his forte. This is what he does. I haven't been able to find any other engineer that's as qualified or as good as him. He's building out our team here to execute, and it's really incredible. That would never have happened 5 years ago. An 18-year-old kid heading up a department where you're primarily going with a company, it just wouldn't happen. It's nuts.
I mean, kudos to you and your business to be open to those opportunities, because a lot of us gatekeep that behind these 4-year degrees, or you have to have technical diplomas or a certain amount of experience. Give people the baton, let them show you what they can do. And oftentimes you'll be really impressed if you're giving them the tools and resources to succeed. They can blow it out of the water.
Yeah, I say that. There's a caveat. He only has a job for as long as he stays in school until he graduates. I'm trying to do the right thing too.
No, it's about being smart and responsible at the same time. Eric, we appreciate you coming on the show to share your tips and tricks and everything that you've built out today. If there anything we haven't discussed today that you just wanted to open up the platform for you to share with our audience?
I don't think so. I think I touched on it before. If you're really serious about the entrepreneurial journey, it's perseverance, it's persistence. That coupled with putting your ego in check and constantly learning. I didn't go to school for this. I learned all of this. I read voraciously and watch everything I possibly can. And that's led to success for me, the constant learning and never giving up.
Absolutely. Some great advice, Eric. Congratulations on everything you've accomplished. For those out there listening, make sure you go connect with him and check out everything he has going on. Great lifelong learner here, someone who is just kind of battling through all the ups and downs of entrepreneurship and owning a business, but it's the real life experience and action that's going to get you to where you want to go. Eric, we appreciate everything. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
Absolutely. Thank you.